A very good morning once again. Thank you so much to all our valuable customers in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, and South Africa who have joined this webinar. We hope it will be informative and it will be solving some of the challenges that you may be having concerning Microsoft Teams. We will get started just now. As ProComm Technologies, as you are aware, we deliver a number of solutions that enterprises require. We always try to look out for what is it that is of concern to our clients and bring you the solution. ProComm is a partner with a number of technology vendors and covering areas of cybersecurity, unified communications and collaboration, cloud services, and also networking solutions. So today, one of our partners, Audio Code, who have the technology that empowers Microsoft Teams, is there to present on how we can solve the challenge that customers have around adoption of Microsoft Teams. We all know that with the COVID pandemic, a lot of organizations started adopting remote tools, cloud technologies, and one of the solutions that was widely adopted alongside Zoom is Microsoft Teams. And also speaking to the licensing models of Microsoft in terms of how they license the enterprise license agreement, you may find that you already licensed to actually fully adopt Microsoft Teams. So today we will find out what we need to get enabled on Microsoft Teams and how easy it is to actually enable calling on Microsoft Teams. So as ProComm Technologies, we offer a number of unified communication solutions or collaboration tools. Some of you, our valid clients, we have deployed a lot of Cisco Unified Communications Manager solutions for you. We have deployed contact centers that you are managing, but you could also be running other technologies, Avaya, Siemens, and so on. And I think the decision for most organizations going forward is when the time for renewal comes is which technology actually to adopt. And some organizations, it will make sense that they adopt Microsoft Teams as their telephony system and do away with the legacy PBX technology. And we are there to enable you for that. While for other organizations, they will also continue to use other UC platforms like Cisco, Avaya, Mitel, and so on. But however, they're going to require an integration between those systems and Microsoft Teams so that you are able to call an extension that's sitting on a Avaya or Cisco system, calling a user that is sitting on Microsoft Teams. So that capability, again, we'll be able to give it to you through this webinar presentation today and the demonstration. So I hope this will be engaging. As ProComm, there is another technology that we also providing for our clients. We see a lot of adoption of the cloud contact center. And as ProComm, we have a platform that we can actually deliver for you so that you deliver a superior customer experience for your customers. There is a growing demand for clients to adopt customer experience platforms to differentiate themselves in the market, and also to consolidate all the data that the clients have about their users and be able to deliver a digital experience. We see the drive by many organizations of digital first, digital engagement first, before a human engagement. And there is a platform that we are delivering as ProComm to improve your customer experience. So if you are in the journey to adopt a cloud contact center, please engage with us, and we will help you on that journey, utilizing different technologies and solutions, and also with audio codes that we have today. So thank you so much for everyone for joining in time. And at this stage, I will hand over to Pierre from Audio Codes, who will take us through the Live Express presentation and demonstration. Thank you, everyone. Pierre, over to you.
Mr. Nkala, thank you for the opportunity to also share this technology with your partner base. So what we're going to talk about, I just want to quickly confirm if everybody can see my screen that I'm sharing right now.
Yes, we can.
Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So the technology that we're going to talk about today is called AudioCodes Live Express, which is the underlying technology being used by ProComm in order to give you really fast telephony access to your Microsoft Teams. Now, just in order to set the stage what we are really talking about, I just want to show you something before we start talking. When we talk about Microsoft Teams, we all know Microsoft Teams client. This is what it looks like. And what we're going to talk about today is if you have the correct licensing, meaning you've got an E5 license or you have any of the other enterprise licenses with a phone standard license, and you click on the left-hand bar here, you get a dial pad. And this means that you can make and receive telephony calls. You can call mobile calls. This becomes your office extension. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're working from home, if you're working from the office, if you're working from anywhere, even from your mobile phone, your office number travels with you wherever you go. And this is the enablement for getting that to work for you. Now, first of all, let's talk about Live Express. What is this all about? Live Express enables you to give you that high quality voice and video collaboration on a per user per month basis. So already you're in a situation where you would only pay per user per month. In order for the service, there's no upfront procurement of equipment that needs to go on-prem. You can consume this like you consume Microsoft straight from the cloud. It's hassle-free. So when you get the correct licensing from Microsoft, what you're going to see in the demo a little bit later, it connects to the SaaS solution, and we talk about a 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how fast your tenant syncs with the platform to get onboarded. And we assist you in simplifying your development efforts in order to be able to go to market with Microsoft Teams. Now, when we talk about Teams direct routing, because the underlying technology coming from Microsoft is direct routing. Now, these are the links that Microsoft makes available to say this is how you configure Microsoft Teams. Now, to give you an indication, what are we really talking about, is the following. I just want to show you quickly, just to give you a feel of, what are we really talking about. Just 1 second. I just want to pull this across so that you can see, if you would be doing this on your own or attempting to do this on your own, if you are a telco engineer, this is the typical approach that you will be taking. So when we look here at those 5 links, first of all, you will do configure direct routing. So here it is explained, there's a whole documentation. These are the boundaries. Next, when you configure your direct routing, it will send you towards how you enable users. Now, in order to get users in Teams to work with direct routing, there's a few things. They need licensing. You're going to need to send a few scripts into Microsoft in order to get that working. So you can see here's a few PowerShell scripts. You also need to know what needs to be inside those scripts. Once that's done, you need to set up all your call routing in order to get this working. And now, when you're going to see the demo a little bit later, you will see in a matter of 30 seconds, all of that's being done in the back end, being automated. So the voice routing will get set up, this whole component. The PowerShell scripting happens in the back end. All the voice routes are done. All the PowerShell scripting that you see here is fully automated. So there's no finger trouble. We got this wrong or we got that wrong. Everything gets done automatically. And on top of that, you will see the dashboard at the end. You can see all the call flows and how all of that works. So just to set the stage, this is typically what we talk about when we talk about direct routing and getting it set up. Now, when we look at what did Microsoft partners ask for, what's their wish list for 2023? As you could have just seen from the previous slide, they were asking, is there a way to instantly onboard customers using Microsoft Teams with a phone system? Can we reduce OPEX and scale up? Because when you want to do it yourself, you have to buy a session border controller, you have to put a certificate on it. You need to have engineers that can now support this and set up routing and do all the configuration for you. Then when you look at the Microsoft Teams voice delivery itself, everyone wants immediate time to market. This is the era that we live in. You want to go online, you want to subscribe, you want to have your service today. And then they're looking for an enhanced offering on top of this. Okay, once I'm connected now, can I see my calls? Can I see what the quality was and how all of that works? This brings us to the solution that we're going to talk about today. And this is what the Live Express is. It solves all those problems. It gives you your quick time to service. It optimizes your cost. You don't have to do a CapEx spend in order to use the service. And it gives you complementary device as a service, software as a service, upsell. So if you want to add Teams, rooms, IP phones, all of those things, you can also speak to ProComm and they will be able to quote you on meeting room setups also as a service, as well as IP phones and everything that complements it. At the service as itself, you as the end customer will have Microsoft Teams. You will then connect, and this is transparently, you will connect via the Live Express to ProComm. ProComm will take care of everything. This is a multi-tenant platform. And they will provide you with a SIP trunk. So the SIP connectivity is already taken care of. It's a multi-tenant portal. So they will onboard you here as business A, B, or C. And if there is a need on your side to also have view to the dashboard, and a lot of customers tell us, we don't need view to the dashboard. We just need the stuff to work. If something goes wrong, I want to phone someone. And that's where ProComm comes in. You can phone them. They've got access to the dashboard. They can take care of it. If you have an IT manager that says, look, I also want to see, you can have that discussion with ProComm. So this platform provides you with everything that's needed, the SIP connectivity, the multi-tenant portal, the user management portal, if you want that, as well as the advanced analytics. Now, there's two plans built in here. There's an Express inside your Express. We've got a Hosted Essentials Plus. Now, this is the one which we find is for most organizations completely sufficient. When they log on, you can onboard all your users in a couple of minutes. And there is also access to the proactive monitoring. We take care of everything, or ProComm takes care of everything on your behalf. So you get onboarded and you will, within a few minutes, be able to start making calls. If you are a more advanced organization, and when I say advanced organization, this is usually organizations where you have different departments, you have different policies, you have different routing for different users. And there's a lot of setup that needs to happen within your organization regarding some users might have national calling, some have international calling, different policies apply for different branches. That's where the Hosted Pro comes in. Because now you need to have all these policies pre-set up and the lifecycle management. If you need, for instance, to have reserved numbers, let's say, for instance, the CEO number, the front desk number, all those numbers needs to be reserved, that they don't get assigned to a user accidentally. All of those things are being taken care of by the hosted Pro. Where with the essentials, if you are a 10 or 20 user organization, you just want a number assigned to a user, Essentials Plus does that for you. On the Pro side, you also have access to the monitoring and the statistics and everything that comes with the platform. So if you would like to get a taste of what this looks like, speak to the team at ProComm, to your sales managers. They'll be able to get you onto a free demo, 30 users, 30 days, really quick. The requirements on your side is really two things. You need the correct Microsoft licensing, and you need a PSTN line with the ID numbers. Once those two things are available, then it's possible to set you up on a demo for 30 days. And that's the story that I wanted to tell you around the Live Express. Just to set the scene, this is what you're going to see right now in action. And today's presentation is really to show you, in real life, this is what it looks like. It's there, it works, it's fast, and it's fantastic to use. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Johan, on our pre-sale side, just to then take you through the demo.
Thank you, Pierre. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. Where I am, it's cold, extremely cold, so excuse my jackets. So, like Pierre rightly mentioned to you guys, you can all see my screen? Sorry, let me just confirm that.
Can see it, Johan. Thank you.
Thanks. So what Pierre rightly said is that ProComm will have the ability to onboard you guys extremely fast without the hassle of all the power scripting and things like that onto the Live Express portal. Now, this is the portal access that they will have. And we can go through all of these a little bit, but what I want to do is I want to quickly show you guys first how quick it is to do an onboarding for a typical customer. So I'm a ProComm employee, and all that I will do is I will click on my customers. I will see all my customers that's in that I've onboarded, and I want to onboard a new customer. I will say direct routing, add a new customer. So now the system will give me pages with two options here. The one on pending customers, it will show me to say, okay, there's pending authentication, or it will say to you that ready to onboard. So if I go back here, and I will explain that to you how it works. So first of all, we will give a full name. So I'm going to do that, and then what I will do is just a short name. It might be 2468. That's long enough. So now, like Pierre mentioned, there's two types of license types that we will use on the Express, either Essentials Plus or the Essentials Pro. Okay, so I'm going to just select Essentials Plus, and they will select 10 users, 20 users, 400 users that they want on board. And now, if they know the credentials of the global admin user, which they normally don't, then what will happen is they will say, no problem, let's send a link to the IT administrator for authentication. So I click that, and I must put in an email there. Sorry for that. Let me use my Gmail. So they will say, send a mail, and a mail will be now sent to an email address. Just open that. When it comes up, I'll show you guys. Now the system will send a mail to the IT administrator. And if you look here, what has happened here? You can see there's two pending now. So if I click on pending, you can see there's the one that I've just added now, requested to say, okay, pending authentication. So the end user, you as the end user need to do something now to give consent so they can onboard you. We can send a reminder from the system, or we can revoke that request. And just refresh here. In yet, so let's just wait. There we go. So if I want to show you here, so what I'm going to do is, there's the mail from the system that was sent, says onboarding, welcome, company name for joining the Live Express, Live Cloud for Teams. And we ask you to click on that link to give consent for the onboarding. So now what will happen is it will open this page, and then we need to go and just grab the global admin will now sign on here. So the global admin, let me just copy that as the global admin, copy. There you want this one. So global admin will go in there. So start authentication. I will copy that code, go to the Microsoft device logon page. Paste the code in there, say okay, next. Now, who do I want to sign in? I want to sign in as that global admin user. That's not right. Let's just go here and copy it again. So here, so copy that user. Paste it, next. Okay, that's the password it will ask. Let me just grab the password quickly. Global admin's password. And then you will give consent on behalf of the organization for the onboarding that needs to take place. Okay. Now we just follow the screen prompts. I say you may close this window, close it, it will take you back here. You click to continue the authentication process. That user, you finish the consent. It's a two-stage consent. And it will tell you, okay, thank you, you're done. I can close that. It's all done here. And I can go and delete that onboard mail there. Okay. So now, if I look at this and I go back, and I go to pending customers again, we can see that it changed. It says authentication complete, and the customer, now we can onboard the customer, and ProComm can go on now and say, okay, add the customer. Now they will choose the license type, make sure it's Essentials Plus or Pro. We're going to select 10 users. Everything else stays the same. Just click next. Now it just validates the authentication that happened in the previously from the customer side. It will say, thank you, it's done. It picks up the tenant ID that side. We can click next. And now we will go and configure, instead of manually configure the subdomains, things like that in tenant, we're all doing this automatically now. So that is the region we want to deploy, for instance, the IP address of the SPC, and it will just go and look if there's the appropriate license for the onboard. Like Pierre mentioned, we need E5 or we need E3, E1 with a phone standard add-on. It picks up the license and I can go on and say, okay, let's do the onboard next. Now it creates on the tenant the PSTN gateway. It will create the TX records and everything through this stage now. It's created the records. It's validating the DNS, the domain. And this whole process here is what replaced that 4 links that Pierre sent or showed you guys, where you manually need to go and add all of these things. Create a subdomain, you need to let the service provider know, okay, here's my MX record, add it to your thing, okay, thank you. Now you can go and verify that domain. This all happens automatically. When it's done, I can go back to the scripts and I leave it as is and I say next. Now this is what it picked up, and now I can decide, okay, I want to do a SIP trunk, I want to do PBX or bring their own carrier. Doesn't matter what we choose here. I can just go here, I just want to do this one. Then there might be carrier registration or no registration. That one, I think it's that one, and it's that one. So now that's the account to bring the trunk up between us and the service provider. Yeah, we will go and put a number range in. Let's say we've got a few numbers, 29 from the service provider. Okay, we add the number range in there and we go next. And we just select the right script to onboard and say go. Now it's building the configuration on the SPC file. And there we're done. So now if I go back here, you can see there's the one that I've created and it's busy deploying. Okay, so it goes black, orange, green, or sometimes just black and green, depending how fast it is. So there you can see, and now we can see, okay, there's our tenant that was onboarded. Now I want to work with that tenant. I can select it, go back to customer actions. Now I can edit that customer. Now it will give me functionality of what I can do, what I want to do with that customer. So the first onboard, the first time you connect to it, there's a 5-minute, 10-minute application that takes place. So it takes some time. So and we can wait for that to come back. Okay. So if I go back here, let me show you some other things here. For instance, this one, and use that one for the sake of this. So if I go now and it's synced already, okay, so let's just refresh that and see if it's okay. Okay, so when it's synced, now I've got access and I can say that lady, right click, edit or assign number. And it's simple as telephony, enable telephony, select the range or the trunk if there was, and then select the number and say update. Or I can do it the other way to say assign a number, put the telephone number in there, enable the voice, and then the voice policy, I can select whatever was defined and click OK. And then it will then allocate a number to that person. Once it allocates the number to the person, or if I say OK, you will see that here in the queue changes. It will go and sit here and say, okay, that's the lady. So what did we do for her? We enabled the enterprise voice. We allocate a number to her and we make sure that it's in the right policy. And we say, okay, so if you look here, that's the script that was built that automatically runs. So there's 3 scripts basically instead of manually doing it. If it runs perfectly, then you'll see that it will give you a OK. Okay, let's go back to this one and see if we are finished here. Okay, it's going to take some time, so let's go back here. So now, with the system, so ProComm can see then, like I said, all the customers that they onboard. So you will be here, they can go there, they can edit you, or they can delete you if you don't want it to be anymore. Otherwise, they can go and say, okay, let me go back here. So on this, they can see immediately alarms, okay, immediately critical alarms, or they can say, okay, but let me filter. So I want to do a custom on customers, for instance. Which customer do I want to see? Let's see that one, ProComm that we created, and say add. And now it will only bring up that customer. Now I can go and look at alarms for that customer. I can go look at statistics for the customer, or I can go and look for calls for that customer in the system. So let me just delete that so I can bring you calls up. And we can see. So in statistics, you can see, they can see, or you can see if you get access, the total streams that run on a specific day at a certain time. So there was 30 streams running there, and there's a call concurrency of 4 calls at the same time. There we can see the maximum concurrent streams that happened. Like you say, there was 4, that was the highest. And there's the stream quality versus either unknown calls, good calls, fair calls, or poor calls that we can see here. Okay. Go back to the calls. Let's bring up some calls here. So they will be able now to monitor the calls of their clients. And then they can say, okay, but let us look at this person, for instance. And it will bring that person's calls up over a period of time, in the last 24 hours or something. You can see all the calls that's happened here, for instance. And we can see that everything was successful so far for this person. There we can see there's 1 or 2 calls. So I can click on that. I can go and say, show my call for me. And now it will bring up the call of that person. And I can say, okay, so this is either a good call or a bad call, or everything is good here. It was a normal clear and normal buy. So no problem with that. Or I can go to the calls. And I can say, let me see what happened on this call or what happened on that call. Same thing, I can show, click on the call and just show it. And I can see what's happening with that call. Okay. Go back to the dashboard, everything is clickable here, so I can see successful and failed calls. I want to click on the failed calls, for instance, it will take me to that. The failed calls here, it will build a little filter for me here.
I think while it's building up, if I could just add on, and this is the part that Johan's showing now, is the importance of internet telephony, because when we start doing Teams telephony and we start working pretty much in unified communications as a service using the cloud, it becomes important that your service provider has tools like this, that when you contact them and you say to them, I've got a user who repeatedly have bad call quality. It could be a contact center agent working from their house, or they, it could be anybody. It could be a salesperson that's on the road a lot. ProComm's got the capability using these tools now to go back and determine what is the problem. And it keeps the history, so there's no guessing. If the problem lies with the person's internet connection at their house or on their mobile phone, that problem can be resolved. It can be addressed. There's no guessing on how to get to the call quality that you really require. And this is why we show you these tools. It enables ProComm as a service provider to give you really high quality service using Teams telephony.
So the tenant has synced. So let's say I want to go and clear that number for that user. I will go right click, sign number. I will clear that number out of the system. I will disable the enterprise voice and say don't actual value and say OK. So now there it started and says signing subscriber, and it will go and sit there in the queues. See, there's a new request, so it says disable that enterprise and remove all. And I will just go and process that now. So now the system will link up with Teams, clear up that user on the tenant side, and take that number away from that user. So this takes about 5-10 minutes. It depends how busy our Microsoft is. And now what you will see when it's finished, you will see this will be cleared up. There will be nothing in there. Go back there to see. Any questions, guys? Okay, so this is a quick onboard. That is how quick the onboard process is. Once the number has been allocated to a user, that user will see the dial pad like Pierre showed you guys. The dial pad will be showed with the number at the bottom there that was allocated. And once you receive this, you can start to make calls from Teams then. Good.
Johan, thank you so much. All right, so what you've seen today is the capability that ProComm does have in order to give you telephony services based on this audio codes product, which they are a certified reseller for. On your side, if you need to either just do a POC, and let's talk about what is the scenarios. If you have an aging PBX in the office, Mr. Nkala spoke a little bit about what happened post-COVID. I think we've all become mobile. Workplace is not necessarily a desk in an office anymore. A lot of people work some days remotely, some days at the office, some days from pretty much anywhere. Taking your extension with you becomes very important. If your organization needs to get rid of the on-prem PBX, this is a very good solution in order to go forward. I think unified communications, giving people the capability in order to collaborate using something like Microsoft Teams, steps up productivity, sometimes tenfold. I've heard people say 100-fold in organizations. And then plugging your telephony system into this, it gives you that complete suite where from one application you can do all your work, you can make and receive phone calls, and it just makes your life so much easier. It's one tool to use. So from everything that you've seen today, the offers on the table, if you're interested in this, you're welcome then to reach out to your sales people. Maybe Latasha, is there a particular contact number or contact person that the people can reach out to, that or just, I think everybody on the call knows ProComm really well. Reach out and you'll be able to get onto this POC for 30 days really quick.
Thank you so much, Pierre. I think if you have got any particular questions and you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand or you type it on the chat window. Myself, as an IPT engineer, one of the important aspects about IP telephony as it evolved from voice over IP telephony, now we are talking about unified communications, was actually the issue of quality of service for the voice over IP networks. And as organizations adopt cloud telephony, one of the major concerns is actually about making sure that you can actually manage the quality of service. So as you saw on the, we have got the visibility for every call to show the mean opinion score. We also able to show the jitter, the delay. So these are metrics that actually you require to monitor voice over IP networks, and they become very critical, and that will help you either as an engineer or a manager to be able to assess and have the visibility of the quality of service of the when you adopt Microsoft Teams. Another issue, maybe just to highlight, like I said at the beginning, that there are some organizations that are already having an E5 license, and you can, which means you already have the licensing to utilize this service. So you can immediately onboard your customers to give them that ability to call from their Microsoft Teams. And the use cases that we see with most organizations is some organizations want to be able to call from their Microsoft Teams to their existing IPBX. So that's one use case and integration that we can do for you. But like I said, there are some organizations who have done away with the PBX as we know it, and you terminate your SIP trunk from your service provider directly onto Microsoft Teams. But to do that, you need in what we call a session border controller. And the reason for that is to provide for security. So VoIP networks are susceptible to hacking, and you require security to secure that environment. And the SBC in this setup comes through this Live Express package. And as you know, audio codes are the leaders in providing session border controllers. So this is incorporated into this solution. So besides the aspect of how easy, as we saw, how easy it is to onboard onto Live Express, the other critical thing that you get is security of your Microsoft Teams environment. So this is very critical. You don't want to come end of the month, you have a very high bill, telephony bill, that for calls that you were not aware that were happening in your environment. So we secure that environment through this session border controller that comes with Live Express embedded in the system. So this is another critical aspect of why it will be important for you to enable calling on your Microsoft Teams through this service. It is a subscription service, which, as mentioned, which you pay for monthly. So there are no capital capex expenditure, and that makes it very easy to consume, which you can run out of your OPEX budget. So those are the things I wanted to highlight. I don't know if there are any questions. Do we have any questions? I don't see any questions. If there is that a question? No, okay, that's me. Okay, thank you so much. So as mentioned, if you would like to try out this service, please reach out to your account manager. Also, you might reach out to me if you have my email, and we will set you up and demonstrate the service for you. But for most organizations, if this has been a pain point or a direction that you wanted to take as an organization, please engage with us and we'll quickly onboard you. Within minutes, you are live. You are able to call from your Microsoft Teams, and should the time come and the decision is made, you can basically do away with your IPBX. As mentioned, also, if you need desk phones, so you may need some clients will use the Microsoft Teams client for calling for some of your users, but you may require physical phones that connect to Microsoft Teams as well. So audio codes have very good and reliable IP phones that are purpose-built for Microsoft Teams environment. So they're actually purpose-built, so you'll be able to actually use the phone itself to join to a Microsoft Teams meeting, to do video conferencing, and they are purpose-built for that environment. So you could then have some of your executives, some of your switchboard operators getting a physical phone while some of your users are using the soft client. So that is also catered for, and we'll be able to enable you with that. As also mentioned, for your meeting rooms where you require video conferencing units, screens, and so on, telepresence, please also engage with us and we'll be able to enable that with your Microsoft Teams environment. So you can now have all your enterprise collaboration happening in Microsoft Teams. Thank you so much for making time to join, and we hope to speak to you soon as we see your inquiries. I know there's a lot of clients that have been asking for this service. It's now available, and we can go live in minutes on this service. Pierre, your parting shots?
Thank you so much. Just want to thank everybody for joining today. And we are really looking forward for you to join the family online using Microsoft Teams and up your productivity using ProComm. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks, Johan.